Hello, what's going on everyone? And in this video, I want to show you guys how to basically download that of a Node.js and then install it on your system. And I'm doing this for quite a few reasons. One, for those of you who would like to start writing JavaScript on the server side, you want to have Node.js installed on your system for you to be able to do that, okay? So if you want to start writing JavaScript, maybe on the back end of your applications, you want to use something like Node.js and maybe in combination with something like Node Express, but you just basically need to have Node.js installed. And not only that, for those of you who would like to start writing something like mobile app applications, you want to have Node.js. If you are going to use something like React Native to be able to write your your mobile app projects. And I'm not talking about writing web application that actually run on phone. I'm talking about really writing apps that is actually going to run on something like iOS operating system and that of the Android. Okay, so you want to have something like Node.js if you are going to choose something like React Native to be able to write the program. Okay, and not even only that, it does not actually stop at that. For those of you who want to also write front-end web applications, you want to use something like React, you need to also download and then install that of the Node.js to be able to do that. So there's a couple of reasons why you would need something like Node.js installed on your system before you can actually begin. So this is like the basic thing you need to make sure you put in place. You want to like start using that of the JavaScript to write quite a lot of code. Even those that are actually going to be using something like Next.js are still going to need this. So it's actually very important. So without wasting much time, if you go to this URL right here now, which is nodejs.org, you are going to be greeted with this interface, okay? And all you need to do right now, you see we have a button right here for you to be able to download the application, and we do have like two versions right here. So if you take a look here, we'll have the one that is actually called version 20.16.0 right here, but after that we also have another one down here which is actually version 22.6 right here. Okay, so this one is unstable at the moment, okay, but we do have the one that is actually stable, which is actually version 20.16.0 right here. So that's just with long-term support, and that is what this LTS right here means. Okay, so if you hit on this download button right here, you're going to see what is going to happen. So you see that we automatically is actually going to pick this up, and you basically want to save this to your downloads folder. So I do have version 21.7 right there already downloaded, but I don't want to use that. I just want to make sure that we make use of the latest version right here right now, and then the version may actually differ depending on the time that you are watching the video. So they actually change their versions quite a lot of time, okay, too soon anyways. So all we need to do right now is that once you click on this button right here, you want to go ahead and then hit on where it says save, right? So I'm going to hit on save right now, and that's basically going to go ahead and then download that for us. So if I hit here, you see that has been downloaded, so I want to open that up. Okay, so you can alternatively go to your downloads folder from your system, and then you're actually going to see this. Okay, so this is it, right? So I want to open that up, and once you double click on that, it's going to attempt to start the installation. All right, so it's actually going to bring up this interface right here. However, before I proceed with installation, let's first of all check whether we have any existing installation of that of the Node.js in our system. So to do that, I want to search for CMD, which basically going to be my command prompt right here. So I want to open that up, and I want to just type Node right here to check if I have any existing installation of that of the Node. Okay, so I'm going to just do Node and then do -v right there, and then hit enter, and it says that Node is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program or batch file. So it's not actually installed right now, so I can't actually make use of Node right there. So I'm going to close this out, and then I want to complete the installation. We're going to go back to that interface and see whether the installation was successful or not. So let's hit on next, and then here you need to just accept the license agreement, and then hit by putting the check mark right here, right? So and then you go ahead and hit on next, and then this is the location it's going to install to. So you can change it if you want, but I like to leave it at default. So let's hit on next, and it's going to bring us to this interface. So let's hit on next again, and right here, this interface, if you don't know to actually have something like Python and something like that of the Visual Studio Code, there are some accessories that is going to actually help you install by when you hit on this check mark right here. Okay, but I do not actually want that right now. I do have Python and I do have Visual Studio Code already installed, so we can just basically do this manually if you do not actually have them, because it's going to take way too long time to be able to download and install of the things that it's actually going to do for us right here. Okay, if you want to do that manually, you can go to this link right here. I want to click on that. So it's actually a GitHub page where you can follow some instructions to maybe basically select the things you want to install and then install them. Okay, but we do not actually need it anyway, but I'm just opening this up in case you need it. You can just go through it and then do the installation. So if you scroll down, you're going to notice that it's basically going to be just a way to install that of the Python. And if you go down, you're still going to see that it also talks about installing something like Visual Studio Code, but we do not actually need this right now. So let's go back to the installation right here. I want to bring that back up. So I would remove the check mark right here. I will not click on it and then hit on next. And finally, we want to hit on install, and it's going to bring up this pop-up. I don't know whether the screen recorder is going to get this, but if it brings that up on your own system, and I'm basically using Windows, guys, so you want to hit on where it says yes. Okay, I want to hit on yes button, and then the installation is actually going to begin. And shortly it's going to complete the installation. So completed the Node.js setup wizard. We can go ahead and hit on where it says finish right here, and I just see it. Okay, you may need to restart your system for the changes to take place, but I think my own works in such a way that I don't have to actually restart the system. So let's go and check our terminal, command prompt rather, to see whether if that installation kind of worked. So if I do Node.js right here, I mean a node, and then do dash V, some people normally do something like dash version, but that's fine. It's also going to work. So if I hit enter, you see that that installation kind of works just fine. So it has outputted the version for us. Okay, so and then you can actually switch this environment to that of the node and then type some JavaScript code right here. So if you do node right here and then hit enter, you see that it's a kind of switch to that of the JavaScript interface. So if I do something like 2 plus 5 right here, let's say plus 5, and then hit enter, you see that it gives us the answer right here, which is 7. So if we do something like 2 multiplied by 10, it's going to give us that. Okay, so you can also do something like console dot something like log, let's say, and let's say something like within this place we can say something like hello world. And if you go ahead and then hit something like enter right there, you see that we get hello world back. Okay, so right there we do have the hello world printed out right there for us, but then we have something like undefined down here, which is actually fine. Okay, so when you're actually trying to print the result of an expression like the way we did here, 2 multiplied by that of the 10, we get the result right here. But if you are actually going to be using something like the console.log right here, the Node.js environment actually treats something like as a REPL. Okay, and the REPL actually it stands for real eval print loop. Okay, so it works in such a way that it can just bring out the expression itself. Okay, so we do have this expression inside of this place, which is hello world. It brings that back, but then it's going to just print out something like undefined. Okay, so it's going to, which is basically fine. So when we talk about working on the Node.js environment on that of the command line, so it makes use of a REPL to actually display the values. Okay, so this rep right here, it kind of displays the return value of each expression you actually enter. So it's fine to actually return such an undefined. So if you do not want this, you can create something like a script and then run the script. Okay, if you want to do that, or that is another way you can actually maybe install something. You can install something like JSDOM or something like Puppeteer, and that is still another one. That is a third one that you can also install, so you don't have to like worry yourself so much about this. Okay, so but if you get the result right here, just like it says something like hello world, that's just fine. And then you were able to get this one that we have right here. So that means that the installation is just fine. So you can go to maybe your Visual Studio Code to start writing your code. So this is just basically how you can install that of the Node.js and then begin to write your code. Okay, now I know that quite a good number of you may just go to maybe the environment where you want to type your code. An example can be this Visual Studio Code to test the code out. And what I have just done, I basically want to, let me show you my desktop first of all. And let's just go to, yeah. So I have a folder right here, okay, which is basically empty. And then I have that opened in my Visual Studio right here. Okay, so that's just the folder right here. So what I want to do right now is to create a file inside of it. I'm going to just do test and let's say .js. Okay, so let's open that up. And what I want to do right now, I'm just going to do the same thing we did in the other environment, which is actually console.log like that. And I will just basically want to say something like hello world within this place. So let's do that right now. This is going to be hello like that. Okay, so I want to save this right now. Yeah, and I basically would like to run this on my Visual Studio Code, but first of all we want to open up our integrated terminal right here. Okay, which I can do something like control, then I'm going to use what is this sign self? I can't even actually remember the name, but then you can go to where it says something like view right here and go to something like integrated terminal right here. Okay, so to open that environment up, so it closed because I have it already open. So if you go back again, if you go to view menu and integrated terminal, it's going to open up that environment for you. Okay, and then it's going to basically open the folder that you have that JS in right here, which is basically test right here. Okay, so the folder is actually open. And what I basically want to do, first of all, I want to test whether I do have whether Visual Studio Code is actually seeing my Node installation. And to do that, we can do the same thing by just doing Node, and we're going to do -v and then hit enter. And then you see that we do have that right here. So this is version 20.10.0 right there. Okay, and basically some of you may see some errors right here. Okay, and what you basically want to do is to just make sure you add the path to the installation of your Node.js. Just add it to the path, okay, to be able to do this. If you don't know how to do this, if you try this and then you're getting an error, you can just comment in the comment section so that I can actually show you guys how you can actually add this particular Node installation to that of your Visual Studio path, okay, so that you can actually have access to this. Okay, so I did not actually do this on my own, but it was just fine. But maybe I've actually done this some time ago, but I can't actually remember right now. But however, if you have any issues, just let me know. All you need to do is to just add your Node.js to that of your Visual Studio path, okay, so that you can actually have access to this. So let's say, for instance, we want to run this particular script right here. We can just do something like Node, and this is going to be, if you want to say Node, you can create a space and then type the name of the file, which in this case is actually called test.js. And let's go ahead and run that. And you see that we basically got hello back, okay, hello world back right here. And this time around, it does not actually return that error called the undefined. You see how that works? So that's just that. So I can confidently and comfortably write my Node.js app within this particular Visual Studio Code right now and then run it. Okay, so that's just what it is. Remember what I said, if you have any issues accessing this within this environment, you can drop a comment. Just try to be polite with your comment, okay? Don't just try to claim anything in there. Just let me know within the comments, and then I will help out with a video on how to add the path, okay? So I can actually show you that right now because I do not actually have that issue. Maybe I did the path addition some time ago, but I do not actually know. But with the latest installation of the Node.js, I think this part gets created for you automatically. So I'm not really sure, but I'm just saying that I do not actually have any issue with mine right now. So thank you guys for watching, and then I think I'll see you guys in the next one.